Hey everyone, so this is a Korean lesson based on this Korean dad joke that I recently learned about, and I really liked it because at first I couldn't guess the answer, and after I found out, I thought it was a very creative pun. So I really wanted to share with you guys and even make it into a lesson. Oh, first of all, that joke in Korean is 아재개그. 아재 is a shortened word for 아저씨, which means middle-aged man. And then 개그 is humor or joke. So 아재개그 means dad jokes in Korean. We're going to learn one 아재개그, and it goes like this, guys. So the question is, 베를린에서 함부로 음식을 먹으면 안 되는 이유는? So why you should watch what you eat in Berlin is the question. And I will not give you the answer right away because that could spoil the fun. But here's a hint, guys. Think of Germany, capital city, and word that exactly in Korean, Germany, capital city, because that is the answer. So take some time to think, guys. And in the meantime, let's break this sentence down first. The sentence that was in the question part. So let's look at EU first, guys. EU. So EU means reason. And when you combine a sentence with 는 EU, it literally means the reason of this sentence. So this 는 is a verb's modifier form, specifically in present tense. Let me write here, present tense. And so you must combine it with a verb, which is usually at the very last element of a sentence, right? To modify EU, what kind of EU it is. So literally, it means the reason of the sentence, so more naturally in English, the reason why. Let me write it here. The reason why the sentence is the case. So note that in Korean, we don't say 이유 왜. We don't say 이유 왜 for the reason why. We say sentence는 이유. And let's try making some example sentences with it then. So how would you say the reason why I like Korea? You can simply combine the sentence I like Korea with 는 이유, which corresponds to the reason why. So I like Korea. It's a very simple sentence, right? 내가, I, and then object comes first before a verb. So 한국 is Korea, the country name, and you can mark it with the object marker. And like, the verb like is 좋아하다. So you take the stem, 좋아하, and combine it with 는 이유. 내가 한국을 좋아하는 이유 becomes the reason why I like Korea. Likewise, the reason why my cat eats a lot. So you can simply combine the sentence that corresponds to my cat eats a lot with 는 이유. So my cat, you can simply say 고양이, a cat, and use it with a subject marker 가. 고양이가 a lot. 많이. Let's put adverb before a verb. And lastly, eat is 먹다. So you take the stem, 먹, and combine it with 는 이유. 고양이가 많이 먹는 이유. The reason why my cat eats a lot. And by the way, guys, just in case some of you guys are confused, this 는 and this 는 are different nens. So the first 는 is what we just learned. It's a verb's modifier form, specifically in present tense, so it can only be combined with a verb, whereas this 는 is a topping marker, 은. So if the noun ends in a vowel, you mark it with 는. You mark the noun that is the main topic of the sentence with 는. That's what topping marking particle does, right? So this 는 indicates EU is the main topic of this entire sentence. So these two nens are different, guys. Moving on. So we just learned 는 이유, the reason why. So what kind of reason? Now let's break down this sentence part. 베를린에서 음식을 함부로 먹으면 안 되다. So, what reason are we talking about? 베를린에서 베를린 is a Korean way of pronouncing Berlin, which is the capital city of Germany. And 에서 is a place marking particle, right? So it's a place particle. And 음식 is a noun that means food. And we can see by looking at the particle 을 that food is an object in the sentence, right? So this is an object particle. And 함부로 is an adverb. That means thoughtlessly or carelessly. So basically you do something without a proper consideration or caution. So that's what 함부로 means. And 먹다 is a verb that means to eat, right? To eat. And this verb is combined with 으면 안 되다, the verb ending. So we're going to learn more specifically about this verb 으면 안 되다. So if you break it down, it literally means if you do verb, it doesn't become. So this is an expression for prohibition, guys. So for something that you're not supposed to do, or something that you're simply not allowed to do for whatever reason. So when you say 먹으면 안 돼요, 먹으면 안 돼요, it means you're not supposed to 먹다, eat, right? You're not supposed to eat, or you are not allowed to eat. You cannot eat because it's not allowed. So this 먹으면 안 되다 as a whole means you're not supposed to eat. So if you look at the complete sentence, in Berlin, food carelessly or thoughtlessly not supposed to eat. So actually, guys, if you can make out what this sentence means just by following the Korean order of the sentence without trying to translate it properly in your own language, that would be the best, because becoming fluent in Korean mainly involves getting accustomed to the Korean sentence structures, right? The Korean word order. But for now, to help you with smoother understanding, let's rearrange them in proper English order. So, the reason why you're not supposed to eat carelessly food, right? Eat food carelessly in Berlin. Isn't it crazy how Korean word order is the complete opposite from that of the English sentence? It would definitely take a lot of work to get fully accustomed to the Korean word order, but it takes time, of course. It takes a lot of exposure, a lot of commitment. So don't worry, if you have that ready, you will get there. So yes, that's what this question is asking. And before we move on to the answer reveal, let's try making some of the sentences, example sentences using 으면 안 되다, the grammar point that we just learned. So how would you say you cannot as in you're not supposed to yell at a public space? How would you translate it in Korean? So it's always best to put the place or time information at the front part of the sentence. So let's put at a public place first. Public place is 공공, public usage, place, 장소. This whole word is public place, and you can mark it with the place marker. 공공장소에서. And the subject you is implied already because you, as in everyone, isn't supposed to yell at a public place, right? So we can just omit the subject because contextually the subject is figure outable, right? So we don't need to put the subject, and we can move right ahead to verb. To yell is 소리를 지르다. 소리 means sound. So it literally means to yell a sound. So 소리를 지르다, we can put the stem, 소리를 지르, and then you're not supposed to do it, right? So you connect it with 면 안 돼요. 공공장소에서 소리를 지르면 안 돼요. 그 다음에 let's move on to the final sentence. Minors are not allowed to drink. So a minor is 미성년자 in Korean. So if you break down 한자 of this word, it means 미, not yet, 성, complete, 년, year, 자, person. So it means you're not yet a grown person. So you are underage, basically. So 미성년자 is the subject. 미성년자는 minors. 미성년자는 cannot drink, not allowed to drink. So drink is 마시다, right? 마시다. But in this context, it's talking about drinking liquor, right? Alcoholic beverage. In that case, you can use 술. 술 means liquor as an alcoholic beverage. And so 술을 마시다 would mean to drink liquor. So 미성년자는 술을 마시다. Take the stem and then combine it with 면 안 돼요. You're not supposed to do that. 미성년자는 술을 마시면 안 돼요. You can translate it like this. And so finally, the answer we have all been waiting for. So here you go, guys. The answer is 독일 수도. 독일 수도. And here's why it's funny, or why it's supposed to be funny, because this phrase has double meanings, guys. So the first meaning that 독일 수도 has is literally 독일, Germany, 수도, capital city. Germany, so it means Germany's capital city, which Berlin is 독일 수도, right? 베를린은 독일 수도예요. 그렇죠? 맞죠? And another meaning that 독일 수도 has is it could be poison. Actually, a proper sentence would be 독일 수도 있다, but we'll get to that. First, let's break down why 독일 수도 or 독일 수도 있다 means it could be poison. So first of all, if you have been studying Korean grammar for a while, I'm sure you're familiar with this expression, verb 을 수 있다, which means can or to be able to, right? So it often talks about the ability or what's possible circumstantially, right? So if you want to say, I can speak Korean, this is your ability to speak Korean, you can use 을 수 있다. So 한국어를 하다 means to speak Korean. 한국어, Korean language, little object marker. And 하다 means to do, but in the context of language, it can also mean to speak. So you combine it with an expression that indicates your ability. So 한국어를 할 수 있어요 means I can speak Korean. And for the next one, I can be there by 10. It talks about how something is possible circumstantially, right? So you can use 을 수 있다 in this context as well. I can be there by 10. So let's provide time information first, which is 10시, 10 as in 10 o'clock, right? 10시 by 10까지, 10시까지. And be there means you will come there. At least in Korean language perspective, it's correct to use 오다 verb for this context. So let's use 오다 verb. I can be there by 10. 10시까지 오. This is what's possible for you. So you can connect it with 올 수 있어요. 10시까지 올 수 있어요. 10시까지 올 수 있어요. Or actually, now that I think about it, you can also say 갈 수 있어요. 갈 수 있어요. 가다. Because when you're coming there, you're also going there. So both are fine. 갈 수 있어요. On the other hand, verb 을 수도 있다. Although the only difference between these two is that this one has 도 particle added and the rest is the same. They deliver quite different things. So verb 을 수도 있다 talks about the possibility, guys. Possibility. What could be but at the same time, it's not 100% certain. It's only a possibility. So for example, if you want to talk about the possibility of it raining tomorrow, as in it could rain tomorrow, you can say, so 비가 오다 means to rain. So 비가 오다 올 수도 있어요. 비가 올 수도 있어요 means it could rain tomorrow. They're talking about the possibility that it might rain tomorrow, although you're not 100% certain. And the next one, the coffee could be hot. Be careful. So you're not 100% certain that the coffee would be hot, but there's a possibility. So you can say 커피가. So 커피가, you can use 뜨겁다 adjective, right? Because this hot is used in the context of you touch it and then it's hot, right? It's not used in the context of a weather. So you can use 뜨겁다 adjective. And since 뜨겁다, this adjective follows an irregular rule when it's combined with li을 suffix. It follows a slightly different rule. So rather than putting 을, you delete 피읍 in the stem and then add 울, right? So you can say 커피가 뜨거울 수도 있어요. 뜨거울 수도 있어요. Be careful. 조심하세요. 조심하세요. So that's how you can use 수도 있어요 in your sentences. Then, how would we say something could be poison? There's a possibility that it could be poison. You're not certain, but it could be. So it could be poison. Poison is 독 in Korean. 독. It means poison. 그리고 이다 verb. I'm sure you remember 이다 verb, which is a to be verb, right? Something is, but it's always followed by a noun. So something, it's used when you want to say something is a noun. So 독이다 means something is noun, something is poison. And so there's a possibility that it is poison. So you can combine to the stem 일 수도, right? 있어요. 독일 수도 있어요. 독일 수도 있어요 means it could be poison. And one interesting fact about this expression, 을 수도 있어요, is that you can simply say 을 수도 alone without the 있다 part. So for example, you can just say 독일 수도 without 있어요 to mean the same thing. It could be poison. And for this sentence, you can just say 커피가 뜨거울 수도 without 있다 to mean the coffee could be cold. And this as well, 비가, you can just say 비가 올 수도 without 있어요 to mean the same thing. It could rain. However, please note that this shortened form, the shortened form without 있다 gives a more slangish feel. So it's only suitable for casual conversations or casual text messages with your close friends. And also, guys, please don't misunderstand. Not every expression with 있어요 can have it removed. So for example, in the case of 을 수 있다 expression, the one that we learned earlier, you must never omit 있다. You must never omit 있다 because without it, the meaning becomes unclear. So please remember that removing 있다 part doesn't work for every single expression. So now back to the joke. So now I'm sure you get the humor and the pun behind this. So 베를린에서 함부로 음식을 먹으면 안 되는 이유는, so the reason why you shouldn't eat food carelessly in Berlin. So basically the reason why you should watch what you eat in Berlin is 독일 수도, either because it's Germany's capital city, which Berlin is, or it could be poison, right? Okay, guys, so I'm finishing the basic lesson here, but you're welcome to stay if you wish to practice making longer sentences and more complex sentences, which I brought two here. And we can use all the grammar points that we learned in this lesson. Let's try translating the first one. The reason why I wake up early every day is because I cannot be late to class. I cannot, as in I'm not supposed to be. I'm not allowed. Like otherwise, I'll get kicked out or something, right? So let's start from the reason why I wake up early every day. So we learned that you can combine the sentence with 는 이유. So let's start from the sentence. I wake up early every day. So time information first, every day. 매일. And before we put the verb, we can put the adverb first. Early, 일찍. Wake up, 일어나다. 일어나. And then combine it with 는 이유. 일어나는 이유, and this is the topic or subject of a sentence, so you can mark it with the subject marker. 매일 아침 일찍 일어나는 이유는 is because I cannot be late to class. So when you want to say is because, there are many ways you can use is because. You can either say, you know what? You can just say, I cannot be late to class. You can just put this plain sentence without having to put any expression that corresponds to is because. So that's one way. That's acceptable in spoken sentence, but not in written sentence. But still, that's one of the options. And you can also say, 뭐뭐 서요. 서. You can add the 서 expression from 그래서. And the most neatest, the most proper sounding expression you can use is 기 때문이에요. 기 때문이에요. This one sounds the most proper, not only in speaking, but also in writing as well. So we're going to practice with 기 때문이에요. So for is because, we can use 기 때문이에요, which can come at the last part of the sentence. So we can first translate I cannot be late to class and then combine it with 기 때문이에요. So let's try I cannot be late to class. I'm not allowed. I'm not supposed to be. So to be late to class is 수업에, you can say 수업에 늦다, or you can also say 지각하다. 수업에 늦다 or 수업에 지각하다, and you're not supposed to be late. You can add 으면 안 되다, since 늦다 ends in 받침. You can add 늦으면 안 되다, right? I will stop at 안 돼, the stem. And for 지각하다, the stem ends in a vowel, so you can just add 면 without So 지각하면 안 돼 is because. Now you connect it with is because. 기 때문이에요. 기 때문이에요. Let's use blue. 안 되기 때문이에요. Or 수업에 지각하면 안 되기 때문이에요. Now this is a perfect sentence, both when it's spoken, both when it's written. Now let's move on to our second and last sentence. The reason why I brought only 2 gifts is because there is a possibility that Jisoo might not be able to come. So I'm sure that you guys notice you can be using 을 수도 있다 expression for possibility, for the sentence that indicates possibility. 그러면 봅시다. Let's start from the reason why I brought only 2 gifts. So you can first put the sentence, right? I brought only 2 gifts. So let's start with the object of the sentence. Only 2 gifts. 선물 is a gift. And 2 gifts, you can simply use the pure Korean number 2, 둘, and it's 둘, but when it's combined with counter, 리을 gets deleted, right? So 선물 2개, since 선물 is an item, you can use 개 for counter. So 선물 2개, 2 gifts. Only, you can simply use 만 particle. 선물 2개만 brought is 가져오다, 가져오다. And guys, here you can see that the verb is in past tense, right? And do you remember, guys, that this 는 from 는 이유 is a present tense verb modifier form. So for past tense verb, the modifier form should be different, which isn't drastically different. You can either combine 니은 받침 or 은, depending on what the stem of the verb ends. So 선물 2개만 가져오다, 가져오다. And since it's past tense, and since it ends in vowel, you can add 니은 받침 as a modifier suffix. So 가져온 이유, 온 이유. And this is the topic of the sentence, so we can mark it with this topping marker. So 선물 2개만 가져오다. You bring 2 gifts. 가져온, past modifier, so you brought 2 gifts. And for reason for that, 이유는 is because there's a possibility that 지수 might not be able to come. 지수가 might not be able to come. For this one, you can say 못, can't, 오다, right? 못 오다, 못 오다. 지수가 못 오다. 지수 cannot come. There is a possibility for that. So you can add 을 수도 있다 grammar. 못 올 수도 있다. And then this is the reason is because of that. So 있기 때문이에요. 선물 2개만 가져온 이유는 지수가 못 올 수도 있기 때문이에요. Would be the correct sentence. All right, so I hope you found this lesson fun and helpful, and I hope I could continue doing lessons of this kind, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.